Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and eat with him, and he with me. And the one who conquers, and I will grant him to sit with me on my throne, as I also conquered and sat down with my Father on his throne. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. Not one member of this Laodicea was actually a believer. Now, before you start tuning me out, just hear me out on this. So previously, and with the exception of Smyrna and Philadelphia, I pointed out this sort of progression that we see of the tares among the wheat. What I'm talking about is according to Matthew chapter 13, the church at Ephesus, for example, was mostly Christian, if not all. And Jesus was trying to rein them back in towards himself because it looks like they got carried away, distracted with contending for the faith against the false teachers and apostles in order to protect the sheep. But by the time that we get to the church at Pergamum, we begin to notice that the tares began to grow and to multiply like wheat. Some held fast to Jesus' teachings and didn't deny his name for sure, but then there were some who now held to the false teachings of Balaam and the Nicolaitans, which means that unlike the leaders at Ephesus who always protected the flock by contending for the faith against the false teachers and apostles, the leaders at Pergamum knowingly allowed false teachings to creep into the church. They did not care. They failed to protect the sheep. The seeds of the enemy was now taking root. The leaders at Thyatira allowed a false prophetess named Jezebel to flourish within the church and turn a blind eye toward her destructive doctrines of demons that terrorized the church. But there still remained those who were faithful unto the Lord. Compromise and spiritual adultery was gaining a major stronghold. But by the time that we get to the church at Sardis, the table appears to have flipped, whereas before, the majority of members of the churches were faithful Christians with some fake ones interspersed throughout. The fake Christians at Sardis, however, seems to have taken the majority lead with only a few names that remain loyal to Christ. You see, the nature of weeds, which is what a tare is, a thornhill weed, is to take over and is invasive to our lawns and gardens. Weeds spread out of control, often to areas where you don't even want them, and may harm garden plants by depriving them of water, nutrients, and sunlight. And this precisely describes the nature of the tares among the wheat within the churches. And in some cases, we see in the church at Laodicea, the weeds get so out of control and become so invasive, and that the real plants, they get choked out because the resources are depleted by the weeds.